My stepmother blames me for alienating her child, but it's her own fault.
Send her to space so she's the alien.
E.T.
Phone
Phone
home.
home. So my, 20 female, dad is with his affair partner, Laura. He and Laura have a kid, Lucy, 13 female. Lucy was conceived after my dad, and Laura were already together for a while. Her birth wasn't the reason my parents split, in case anyone is wondering. By the way, this comes from user National Property 34, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Keon.
I'm Carly.
And I'm Dakota.
But obviously my dad's family knew about the affair once my parents split, and they banned Laura from ever attending family events. To this day, the only people on that side of the family who have ever met her are me and my one cousin. That's crazy. Just 2 people who came to stay with me at my dad's for a few days one time. My grandparents told Dad they'd happily be active in Lucy's life, but it would have to be Dad that facilitated the relationship, meaning he'd have to bring her to see them alone. Laura said no. I guess she thought eventually she'd force herself into the family through Lucy, but all it did was mean no one ever met Lucy, and that sucks for Lucy. My dad would take me to my grandparents' or aunt's place without Laura and Lucy, and that was just how it went. Well, it recently came up that my grandparents were giving me money towards buying an apartment when I graduate, which set Laura off. She's always been bitter that my grandparents financed my schooling, but my dad paid for university.
What?
Just-
Okay.
You're upset,
What?
Laura, because the granddaughter is getting stuff from the grandparents and she's loved unconditionally because, I don't know, OP's not scummy?
Yeah, Katie Paladin says, can anyone say projection? Yeah.
She was passive-aggressively grumbling at the dinner table that this is why she felt we could have asked them to pay for my university and that it would be nice if Lucy got to have grandparents. But some people are petty and cruel. You are.
She could have had grandparents if you hadn't isolated her. If you had just been like, yes, Lucy can totally go to the family events with her dad, she would know all these people.
I looked at my dad like, are we really playing that game? But he didn't say anything. Then Laura turns to Lucy and goes, you should know none of this is your fault. Life isn't fair, and you got the short end of the shtick with certain family members. So I just said, yeah, the short end of the stick family member is you, Laura.
Burn.
Here's some ice for that burn.
Oh. Crazy.
Lucy could have had the same relationship with my grandparents that I do, but you were so selfish that you screwed your own kid out of that. Mic drop.
Mic drop.
Laura argued that no one who hated her could have a relationship with her daughter. So I was like, well, what are you mad about then? That your principals ended up sabotaging your kid? Maybe that's on you.
I will say, though, like, I don't think that it's always fair for the kids to be put in the middle of things like this.
No.
Like, I think it really sucks that Lucy couldn't have that.
That's
and I
really
feel like
effed
at
up,
some
yeah.
point, like, okay, fine. She was your dad's affair partner. We don't like her. We don't need to like her. But we can still lighten this ban a little bit for the sake of the literal child that they have together.
Yeah, but Laura also needs to understand, like,
But she's not going to be
you
liked.
can't. Yeah, you can't. You're not going to
Right.
be liked. You are the sole reason for one, Lucy having no relationship with any of the family members, and two, the reason why everything's so messed up.
Right.
Because of you. I mean, yes, you're OP's father too, 100% involved in that. At this point, my dad was just giving me a passing stare, so I just went back to my food. Laura sent me a text later that night about how much she didn't appreciate me saying that in front of her child, and that it was her prerogative how she managed that relationship. She also said my dad's family are cruel and vindictive. I hate Laura.
Yeah, there's the cruel and vindictive ones. Your
Yeah.
dad had an affair.
Oh.
He caused this.
Here's my tiny little violin. Do you like that? I don't care. This is your fault. So, back to the story. OP doesn't reply, and honestly, the only reason I don't have her blocked is in case my dad is taken ill suddenly. But now my dad is saying it's caused issues at home because Lucy is finally grasping that Laura is the one who wouldn't allow her to have a relationship with Dad's side. and now is apparently pretty mad about it. Yeah.
Good job, Lucy.
He's saying the way I went at Laura was inappropriate in front of a child. She's not a child. And that Lucy shouldn't have heard all that. But I think she only heard it because her mother was retconning reality. I didn't mean to cause an issue between Lucy and Laura, but honestly, I do feel like Laura was asking for it by acting like an idiot in front of someone who knew the whole story. Just to clarify, no, my dad's family didn't immediately forgive him. For a long time, they only invited him to things if he brought me during his custody time. But time heals most things. They all still think he's a prick, but honestly, I'm sure they thought that before. No, they haven't totally cut him out because we're just not that kind of family. But Laura was never family to start with. So it's way easier to never make her an acquaintance than to cut her out on your own blood relative that you've known for 40 years. I think that's fairly obvious, right? I am not mad that Laura set the boundary she did, and I'm not mad my parents got divorced. I got mad that Laura set a totally fair boundary, again, that my dad went along with, not saying he's blameless, he's just not the one actively complaining, and then tried to pretend that the consequences of said boundary shouldn't have happened. If you don't want your kid around people who don't like you, again, understandable in this scenario, why are you whining that you're not around for your kid? And we have some comments. Carly.
I think that every person in this story needs to lighten up a little bit in some way, but I think Laura has to do the most of like, you did this to yourself. It's again like you dug this. Sorry, guys. Lie in it now.
Yeah, it's like,
at the same
why
time,
don't they
though,
like me?
Like, if it's been at least 13 years, presumably, because of Lucy.
Maybe a little bit longer, yeah.
Right, probably longer. Like, couldn't we start just trying to see who they are as people? Like, couldn't we let them in a little bit with the understanding that no one needs to like anybody?
Yeah, it's a little bit of, that whole dynamic is
I'm just
one
like,
thing,
yeah.
but for Lucy's case,
It's because they have Lucy that I'm kind of like, could we have lightened up a little bit so that boundary didn't go? But at the end of the day, if Laura's always going to be like, if these people don't like me, she can't come. Like, Laura needs to lighten up the most.
And yeah, and now Lucy's finding out the truth, which is insane.
And a lot to find out at 13.
Yeah, but we have some comments. Comment number 1. Not the a-hole. She's 13, and it's better she knows her mom was the issue and not her child's self. I wouldn't be surprised if she starts asking you for hard truths going forward because her mom spins crap, so she's always the victim. I assume Lucy knows her mom wasn't a fair partner initially. I can't imagine the fantasy her mom spun about them being destined and nothing, not even a wedding ring, could stop their love. It sucks the rest of the family cut her loose to avoid her mother. Lucy's innocent, and too many kids end up ostracized with this kind of thing when they should have just saved the rage and freeze out for the actual guilty parties. OP says, I honestly couldn't answer this. I barely see Lucy and Laura. I presume she knows. I remember I threatened to tell her when I was like 14, but I never did. But obviously, she was way younger then. She probably knows now. I would hope she knows. And there's a reply. She really might not know. Laura might have lied / omitted to save face. And she has no contact with the family, so if you didn't, and your cousin didn't during the one visit, and her parents didn't, don't be shocked if she comes to you someday for answers.
Yeah.
Just be kind when you tell her the truth and do it in person, because she's gonna flip out at 13. If she asks you one day, I hope she's older. Or your dad will nut up and tell her. And there is an update. First thing that happened. Laura would not stop texting me.
Hey.
Not like constantly, but once or twice a day about her feelings or demanding a response / conversation. No response is a response, Laura. This middle-aged woman having a crash out via WhatsApp was not on my bingo card. But eventually, I just had to tell her I don't want to block her because I do want to be there for my dad in an emergency. But I was going to if she didn't stop bothering me. More crash out material. I called my dad and told him to get his household under control because this was getting crazy. I wasn't going to apologize to her. And in my whole life, I've never had as much contact with this woman as I had in this past week. And I wouldn't allow it to continue. My dad was kind of getting that it was an actual issue now, and I pushed him a bit, and the dam broke. So, the wider context I was not aware of is that Lucy's only now putting the pieces together of how Dad and Laura got together. Again, we
Yeah.
couldn't assume that she knew. She vaguely knew about the affair, but I guess she's finally getting what that means now that she's older, and how much damage it did. And she's been asking a lot of hard questions about it and has been really down about it. That's probably why Laura was so triggered by the mention of my grandparents and in a rush to put her spin on it. But since the dinner, Lucy has really been raking Laura over the coals for it. Apparently, because she knows my dad would have let her see the extended family were it not for Laura. My dad also shared that Laura basically feels like she spent a large chunk of her life being punished for the affair, and it's now weighing on her because of how hard Lucy is taking it. Oh, it took you this long. We have a side note. A lot of people were rightly roasting my dad for the affair, but if the above should prove anything, it's how much he is the definition of a roach. The way this man manages to get away with diabolical behavior relatively unscathed is shocking. I was going to say, yeah, they let him back over time, but
Yeah. And for a while, it was only if he was bringing OP.
yeah. The second thing that my dad said, and uncharacteristically admitted, was an F-up. Was telling Laura that probably part of the reason no one ever eased up on meeting her was because they all knew I can't stand her. So he's throwing you under the bus.
So he's lying.
Yeah, the dad is no angel here. And I hold my hands up because I did a lot of bad-mouthing Laura back in the day to my grandparents and aunts because, well, I don't like her. And when you're a teenager, you think that needs to be everyone's problem. I don't think this is as big a reason they still won't meet her as my dad probably made it seem. But he did admit he threw me under the bus for it ages ago, and Laura has never forgotten it.
Oh my god. Boo-hoo.
And by the way, I don't want you to forget that you can listen to full episodes with stories just like this one. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, or your favorite podcast app and search OK Storytime. 70 days.
70
And counting.
days.
And counting.
Crazy.
Kaba is a god. You know what kind of roach. The pee-pee roach.
Okay. Feel like the other word would have been better.
There's a little bit left, but I think we've said it multiple times now.
Yeah.
Like,
A sucky situation. I don't really know if there is much of an outcome for this, though, besides, like, is there a way that Laura will lighten up to let Lucy meet these people? And if she's not, you're kind of still back to where you were, unless we deem Lucy as, like, they can see that Lucy's old enough to want that and make her
Bingo.
own decision.
Bingo. That's
But-
what I was going to say.
At the end of the day, Laura, at 13, she still could be like, you're not going.
Which is crazy.
Which would be crazy.
This is where you text Lucy and be like, hey,
Pick
hey,
me
hey.
up.
we want to sneak
I'll get
out?
you.
You want to meet Grandpa and Grandma? We'll get ice cream.
Yeah.
But let's go ahead and finish the story. She thinks me poisoning the well is the whole problem. So that's probably got a lot to do with her complaining at me specifically. My dad did acknowledge that it was a mistake to tell her that, or tell her what was said, and while I wouldn't go around talking bad about Laura now, I don't feel bad about sharing my feelings with my family at the time. I did ask my dad if Lucy was going to be allowed contact with the grandparents. But Laura is still saying no. This is where your dad needs to be like, that's
Too
not
bad,
fair to
so
Lucy.
sad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is where you give a phone to Lucy and be like, text Grandma and Grandpa, give them a call,
Right.
introduce yourself.
Right.
If you want. I'm not going to force you. But if you are really yearning for that, and I think you are, this should be allowed. However, he said she's close to cracking just because of how much of a hard time Lucy's giving her. So he's going to wait it out. Your dad sucks too.
Also, though, I could 100% see a 13-year-old girl being able to wear down her mom until she says yes.
Yeah.
So I feel like Lucy will probably, hopefully, get what she
I
wants
can see-
pretty soon.
We
but
don't have much context in Lucy, but a 13-year-old girl,
That's what I'm saying.
especially when she's really wants something and she's
getting all
very
this new
upset
stuff.
getting all this new
Yeah.
stuff, she can break you down in a snap.
Lucy's gonna be meeting those grandparents.
Yeah, she's like, you're the reason I
Yeah.
can't meet my grandparents. You're the reason that nobody likes me. You're the reason.
I just hope that the grandparents will be super open to meeting. Like, and they're willing to meet, but I hope that they are super, like, arms open for Lucy. They still do not have to be for Laura, but Lucy is innocent in all of this. So I hope that if Lucy's able to get out to meet them, they are very like, it's so great to meet you, and like, well, tell us about yourself. My aunt celebrated my father's affair baby, so I called her out.
No celebration for this thing, please.
My parents, Miguel, 63, and Elena, 55, have been married in the Catholic Church for decades. They are still married in the eyes of the church because my father has never had the marriage annulled.
Oh.
That means, in the church's view, my parents are still husband and wife. But in September 2024, my dad started a relationship with Laura, 45. The last affair lady was also Laura.
Oh my gosh.
Guys, watch out for Laura's.
Laura's are not it today.
A woman who, at the time, was married to someone else. By the way, this comes from Zira Soli.
Yes.
Yes. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. And I'm Carly.
I'm Riley.
And I'm Sophia.
And Opie says, by July 2025, they already had a baby together. Laura is not the saint she has presented herself to be. She has around 10 lawsuits against her, but still parades herself as extremely devout and moral. My dad's side of the family, the Riveras, are very Catholic and talk a lot about values. But when it comes to Miguel and Laura, they've conveniently looked the other way. My dad even tells people he's been alone for 10 years, despite living with me and my mom until late 2024. Okay, so he didn't see them as married for 10 years.
I see now.
I want to make it clear that I, 28 female, have no relationship with Laura, as I cannot, morally and emotionally, I cannot accept this. For my entire life, I've only been seeing my mom and dad together, and out of nowhere, my dad wanted me to just accept his affair with a married woman? I should also note that Laura and my dad met because Laura's husband was my dad's employee. I should also note that Laura came into this country as a tourist, got married to her now ex-husband for a green card, and then saw my dad, who was a citizen, unlike her resident ex-husband, and who had money, and decided to have an affair with him. She came into this country in 2023, got married to the guy in early 2024. I actually met her once when I went to church with my dad and saw that she was there with her husband. She said she wanted to get married via the Catholic Church with him to not be in sin.
No.
Not be in sin in that one, but she's like totally fine with like a ton of other sins. We're just like slightly worried about this one. Anyway, this was in August of 2024. In September, the affair started. In October 2024, it was made public.
What?
In November 2024, my dad got an apartment with the woman. And in December 2024, she was announced to be pregnant.
Oh.
Given all of this, I had her investigated, which is how I found out that she has 10 lawsuits against her in her home country.
Ooh.
And has even had her car taken from her for not paying. For a few years now, Miguel, my dad, has been financially supporting much of the Rivera side, paying bills, giving cash, helping them out with favors. They've all benefited from his generosity. And now they've rallied behind him and Laura while pushing my mom and me aside completely. Flashback to 10 years ago, we did not have a lot of money. And so this family, aka my dad's siblings, didn't even give us the time of day. Here's where the hypocrisy hits hard. The Rivera family has a long history of infidelity. That's why they're so
Okay,
chill with
so
it.
now they're like, you're one of us now.
One of us.
Come on, son.
One of us.
I gave him a big back pat and a burger and a beer.
They've never gone out of their way to publicly celebrate the kids that came from those affairs. My Aunt Rosa, the aunt in question, my dad's sister, lived through her ex-husband cheating and having a child outside the marriage. Rosa's daughter's ex-husband also cheated and fathered a child. My uncle Louis, my dad's brother, cheated on his wife and had 2 children outside his marriage. My grandpa also had cheated and had children outside of his marriage. He passed away a few years ago, but my grandma prides herself on saying that those children are not my grandpa's kids. Aunt Rosa's ex-husband's kids are not biologically related to us, but if Rosa truly believed all children are blessings, she could have celebrated them. She didn't, which is understandable because she was cheated on.
So the guys are just going out here,
Pumping out kids.
and the women aren't about it, seems like.
But they just stay.
They stay. This is
I-
interesting.
But this child she posted about was the product of my father's infidelity. Uncle Louis's children are biologically part of the family, and yet no glowing Facebook tributes, no blessed family captions, no public celebration for them. In fact, the family ignores their existence. Why? Because Uncle Louis doesn't have a lot of money to support everyone. Fast forward to last week, Rosa posts a big Facebook album celebrating Laura's baby turning 1 month old. Heart emojis, blessings, proud captions, etc. This was the first post ever publicly acknowledging my dad's affair and thus his child. I couldn't believe the hypocrisy. For one, Aunt Rosa was supposedly my mom's friend and sister-in-law. My mother sent me the post. She was sad and angry all over again, just like she was in the first few months of my dad's affair. To be fair, it hasn't even been a year since he left my mom. And so, since my Aunt Rosa made it public on Facebook for everyone to see, I commented,
Uh-oh.
Aunt Rosa, what about the children from your ex-husband's infidelity? What about the children from your daughter's ex-husband's infidelity? Where are those kids? Kind of fire, though. Clap it out for OP.
Oh, so I guess if you don't want to talk about it with me, let's talk about it here. With everyone.
Yeah, you wanted to make this public. Let's have a chat.
Why not?
My point wasn't that the children from affairs shouldn't be acknowledged. It's that this sudden public joy isn't about loving all children equally. It's about celebrating Miguel's, my dad's, infidelity while conveniently ignoring every other similar situation in the family's history. Why? Because my dad has a lot of money and financially supports them all. Also, it's that she herself was cheated on, but doesn't care when it was my mom who was cheated on to post this. Cue the fallout.
Oh, gosh.
My cousin Melanie DMs me. She starts with, I know you're hurting, and says blocking people might be for the best, and then blindsides me by accusing me of spreading a rumor that another cousin, Pedro, was the father of Laura's baby. This is 100% false. I told her I never said that, and that my half-sister, Fabiola, who has lied about me before, likely made it up. This part is a bit messy, and I can explain it here. Basically, Pedro, 28, used to work with Laura, and they'd travel for work and stay in the same room together to save money.
Oh, save money.
Yeah. Pedro himself told us this. My half-sister is 18 years older than me and is from another of my dad's affairs. Except he didn't cheat that time around.
Okay.
He was 16 when he had her with a servant at my grandmother's house who was 24. So pre-marriage. How is that an affair?
I don't know.
Okay.
If
Maybe
it's not,
she was married.
I probably.
Since then, Fabiola has been raised by my grandma as if she is her daughter. Back then, my father didn't have a lot of money individually. Anyway, Pedro worked with Laura, and he would tell us how obsessed she was with him. But I never said that Laura's baby was Pedro's. Never. I did hear Fabiola say that Laura was obsessed with Pedro. While I don't know if the baby is my father's, I think it is the woman's ex-husband's baby, as no DNA test has been done since my father is a proud man. My dad also paid for Laura's divorce, by the way. Also, Pedro was considered a friend of mine, a friend of my husband's as well.
Time out. Paid for her divorce, but you can't pay for your own?
Yeah.
You can't get your own?
Yeah,
What
he's
the-
still
what?
married. I forgot about that.
And then if you're in the States of America, it's illegal
Can't
to
have
be
two.
married? Yeah, you can't have
Yeah.
two.
No, I don't think so.
You can have two girlfriends though, right?
You can have a wife and a girlfriend.
But you can't have two wives.
Yeah. We are the same age and would go on double dates with him and his wife. I would never speak ill of my cousin Pedro, as he has been nothing but sweet. That was the last straw. I told my cousin that I have never and will never say that about Pedro, and that it is surprising to me that she would believe that lie. But ultimately, I realized that she won't change her mind because she thinks I am on a war path for making the first public comment I have ever made about my dad's infidelity. And I only made it because my aunt made the post. I then decided to block everyone on my dad's side. Cousins, aunts, uncles, even my grandmother. My grandmother is also not innocent in this, as she herself has said that she will never meet my Uncle Lewis's kids born out of wedlock. Yet, because my dad financially supports her, she is all in with my dad's new baby.
Oh my gosh.
I'm done with the gossip, favoritism, and rewriting of reality to make themselves comfortable. My mom has also blocked them.
Yeah.
A+.
Only reason I would still stay around with this family is if you want to make a soap opera. You're going to have endless material.
Quality TV.
Other than that, there's no reason.
Yeah. Now, the Rivera family narrative is that I'm bitter, angry, lashing out, and hurting innocent people. Not that they've erased my mom and me while embracing Miguel's new life and ignoring their own past hypocrisy.
Is it her words hurting you? Or is that the truth?
Yeah.
Is that the truth hurting you?
Some self-reflection. This, in particular, hurts for me, as I have always been closer to my father. My mother and I have never been as close as we are now. But now it seems like it's my mom and I against the world. My husband is also here, but understandably, he doesn't get involved, though he has also blocked my family. He says that I should have commented, "You are only posting about this baby because my dad financially supports you," as a slap to the face. And hard truth right there. My husband said either go big or go home. I, however, did not comment that, as the first comment was made as an impulse decision after my mom sent me the post. By the way, we post full episodes with stories just like this. Go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, your favorite podcast app, search OK Storytime. We've got a little bit more, but any other thoughts?
Adopt a new family.
Yeah.
Find one that
Won't
doesn't
cheat.
like to cheat. Yeah.
And I don't know, figure out how to get your mom a divorce.
Yeah. She doesn't deserve this.
She doesn't need to be stuck with this man attached to her.
She should get a divorce, marry someone else so she has better benefits. There we go. Better insurance policies, better this,
Yeah.
better that.
Find her someone with the best benefits.
Like-
Only go off that.
Why marry if you're going to cheat? You know? That's sort of the life.
Yeah.
So I think the only extent that I've seen is grandpa, dad, and son. Not,
Extended family too.
extended family, cousins, uncles,
Wow.
grandpas.
I don't even know that I've seen
then-
grandpa, dad, son.
And then the wives
a
kind of
godson.
accepting it. Never seen that aspect.
Right. And just fully being like, yeah, I get cheated on.
Why not?
Crazy.
What's up? You guys are better than my own kids.
They will probably always believe I said that false rumor about Pedro, no matter what I say. But I know the truth, and I'm done trying to prove it. And they will think I am the bad guy for not saying what my dad wants to hear. I should note that I still have somewhat of a relationship with my dad, but we only see each other sometimes, and we never talk about his other family. It's the only way I can have him in my life now. Whereas before, I was, as they say, the apple of his eye. So am I the a-hole for publicly pointing out my aunt's public selective celebration of my father's affair baby on Facebook and then cutting off his entire side of the family? That's the end of that. But no, not the a-hole.
I do think there was a different way to go about it with how much resentment and anger you have, and you're just willing to go no contact. I do think you are everyone's the a-hole here.
You think everyone is?
I understand you're calling him out. I wouldn't personally do that. But you got to be an a-hole sometimes. Just to
Do you
get
think
it
that
out.
they would have talked to her, though, if she tried to go to them separately when they were already ignoring her so much? Or do you think it had to still be, like, some public way?
I don't think they would have talked to her. Even if she tried to, they definitely would ignore her.
So just don't do anything. Just cut them off and cut your losses kind
Yeah.
of thing.
Maybe write a letter. I don't know. I don't think the public kind of vibe is the move at all.
I could see that, yeah.
Well,
You're
it
not
makes
really
good
getting
TV. It makes
anywhere.
good scenes, and you're done. There's no consequences to what you've done because
Yeah.
your consequence is cutting them off. So that's fine.
You
It's
did
just
it already.
Everyone here is not moving. I don't know. I think if someone does something and you react a certain way, there's just everyone's the a-hole, but you're the justified a-hole.
Yeah, yeah. I could agree with that. A justified one.
Come after me, please. My brother refuses to handle simple tasks, so I told him off.
Sounds like weaponizing competence at its finest.
And trigger warning for verbal abuse and physical altercation. So I, 26 female, honestly feel like I'm at my breaking point and need some outside perspective because I'm either going crazy or just finally waking up. Growing up, my brother, 24 male, was always the golden child. He got to do everything. I wasn't allowed to. He had freedom, friends, could go out, date, live like a normal teenager. Meanwhile, I wasn't allowed to do any of that. If I even questioned it, I'd get the, he's a boy. It's different.
Ugh.
Ugh, I hate that.
That excuse was drilled into me for years, and I'm still resentful of how much I missed out on it just because of that double standard. For context, we are Balkan Muslims, and this is pretty common for us women. By the way, this comes from Do Astronomer 32, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I'm Riley,
I'm Carly.
And I'm Sophia.
and OP says, now I'm married with a child of my own. I live an hour away from my parents, and while I don't mind helping them occasionally, I've got a household, a job, and a toddler to take care of. Lately, they've been needing more help with bills, paperwork, appointments, organizing their estate, and guess who's been handling all of that?
I wonder who.
Me. Not the son who lives with them rent-free with his girlfriend and has all the free time in the world.
Oh my god.
It became too much, and I told my parents I can't keep doing everything. They need to start asking their son to step up. They weren't happy. But for about a week, things were quiet. I thought they were finally listening, and my brother finally grew up. This past weekend, I went to visit and immediately saw a giant pile of paperwork, unopened mail, and bills scattered on the table. I asked what's going on and why it was all untouched. They told me they'd asked my brother to take care of it, and he kept saying he'd get to it. My parents asked me to do it, and I said no.
Yeah.
We're going to wait until he came home, and he was going to do it. No more excuses. An hour later, he walks in, doesn't even greet me, just says, have you done mom and dad's paperwork yet?
Oh!
I looked at him and said, no, it's your job now. You live here. You handle it. He starts whining that I'm better at organizing. I know what gets paid when. I can translate things better. I know where everything goes.
Crazy that it'll say all of that on the paperwork. Pretty crazy how that works.
That is, yeah. I told him, I don't care. I have my own life and family to take care of, and it's not my responsibility to keep doing everything just because no one ever taught him how to be an adult. So this is a problem on the parents.
100%, yeah. I do feel like, unfortunately, I don't know much about
The culture.
the culture that they were raised in, but I think that tends to be a little bit more common in Muslim practices where women like don't have those same freedoms.
Got it.
But, like, hold your son accountable.
Yeah. Ugh. He got mad and things escalated. He started yelling, insulting me, and at one point picked up a binder and threw it at me.
Oh, so he just sucks.
I just stared at him and waited for my parents to say something to defend me, to check him for throwing a binder at me. Instead, they looked at me, said it's my fault. I started it, and I should have just shut up and done the paperwork like always.
Yeah, parents' eyes not opened. Not open.
Oh
They're
my
so
gosh.
they like tied something else over their eyes actually so that they really didn't have to see their mistake.
I snapped. I started yelling at them, saying everything I've bottled up for years. I told them all They raise a spoiled, lazy man-child who can't do a basic task, and he will throw them into a nursing home the first chance he gets. I told them I was done being the one who carries all the weight while he gets to live carefree. I grabbed my things and told them I couldn't stand this family anymore, and I hated them all. As I was walking out, he said if I left and refused to help, they would have nothing to do with me. I said, fine. That's actually better. If they have nothing to do with you, they can't keep asking you to do stuff for them.
Yeah. You're out. Run away.
Cool. I left and haven't spoken to them since. Now they're blowing up my phone, first asking for help. My brother's saying he doesn't know where the checkbooks are, how to write a check, who my parents' doctor insurance is, etc. When they saw I wasn't responding, the text got nasty. They began calling me selfish, heartless, and cruel. My dad left a voicemail that broke my heart. They've said horrible things to me. That was way too far. They even dragged my aunt into it,
Oh my God.
who's now telling me I will be ashamed and that God will punish me?
I'm
What?
so glad though that OP, clearly despite being raised in this environment, has such a good head on her shoulders to be like, no, I don't deserve this.
Yeah, that's so hard to
Yeah.
your own family. At this point, I've gone completely no contact. But I can't lie, I feel guilty even though I know I was pushed beyond my limit. Am I the a-hole? We have a little bit of an edit halfway through here.
Not the a-hole.
Not at all,
Not
dude.
at
Like,
all.
you're the a-hole for not showing your son how to write a checkbook.
Yeah, your parents. And why do the parents not know any of this stuff either? Like, why do the parents
Because
not know who
OP's
their
been taking
insurance
care of it.
is? But like, at some point, someone had to teach OP that, or like,
Yeah.
maybe not. Maybe OP's really been doing this just for her entire life.
It feels like some people's presence or some people's tools can be the consequence of other people's actions whenever
Yeah.
they take it away.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to be the hammer of justice and, give them that consequential factor.
Yeah.
Because they're going to keep relying on you and they're never going to see though as a sad part. But you know the truth.
And they might come around to be like, wow, she was doing a lot for us, but they're probably still just going to blame you for it.
So we have an edit. Hi again. Just wanted to clear up a few things that came up. Someone said I was the a-hole for not teaching my family how to do anything. That's not true. I spent hours trying to teach my parents how to access bills online, sign checks, etc. They always struggled to remember, which really just means they didn't care to learn. I even really tried teaching my brother, but he always had plans or wasn't in the mood. I tried. As for religion, please don't confuse culture with Islam. My parents picked and chose what Islamic values suited them, which is unfortunately very common, especially in the Balkans. For example, I wasn't allowed to date because I'd shame the family. I had to marry a Balkan Muslim, but my brother dated whoever he wanted, including non-Muslim women.
Huh.
Yet my brother's girlfriend basically moved in day one, and no one blinked an eye. I've been the translator and basically the family employee since I was 10. I filled out every form, made every call, done everything for my parents, and it just never stopped. I blame myself for this, as I should have put my foot down years ago. My husband doesn't like my family and hates my brother. That hatred really cemented when my water broke at 30 weeks, and I was in the hospital having a mental breakdown thinking I failed my baby. No.
Aw.
My lovely brother showed up and told me that I must have done something stupid and broke my water myself.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
My husband dragged him out, and my brother wasn't allowed back in. Right now, my husband only knows there was a screaming match, and I decided to cut everyone off. He doesn't know the full story, because if he did, I know exactly what he'd do. I know they'll probably show up at some point. I'm mentally preparing for it. I've mentioned wanting to move closer to my in-laws, and my husband is on board. He also talked to me about starting therapy,
Yes.
and we're reading into it. We were reading the messages and comments together, and we both realized I was severely emotionally mistreated. Thank you all for your kind words and support. It's just sad that internet strangers have shown me more kindness and love than my own family has in years.
OP, I want to give you a hug. Oh my God. Oh my God. Showing up to the hospital and saying something like that, he deserved way more than being just kicked out.
Kicking the gonads.
Yeah.
Edit 2. I forgot to mention I told my husband what my brother did to me. As you can imagine, he is furious and wanted to head over there tonight, but I won't let him stoop to his level. I'm now worried about them showing up here and causing a commotion, as they are the type of people to do that. And we got an update. Ooh. After I went no contact, calls didn't stop. My phone was blowing up constantly. Then my dad decided to try and call my husband directly. He acted like absolutely nothing happened, all cheerful and casual, as if my brother hadn't just thrown a binder at me over a week ago. I guess my dad thought my husband didn't know what had happened. My husband cut him off and told him he knows exactly what had happened, and if my brother ever bothers me again or so much steps foot on our property, it won't be pretty. Conversation ended very quickly after that. A few days later, my uncle and aunt decided to randomly drop by our house unannounced to talk things out. My husband went outside before I even had a chance to react. He absolutely chewed them out, telling them that if helping my parents is so important to them, they should go do it themselves instead of pestering us. They left pretty fast after that. Dude, this husband, the perfect person to have behind your back right now. Oh my gosh.
He gets all the stars because he like swooped in. He was like, "You will not talk to my wife like that."
Yeah.
That doesn't happen a lot with these stories.
No, they're like,
it's nice.
Whatever you say, mommy and daddy.
Yeah.
An hour after they left, my parents showed up. My husband did not allow them inside, but they stood at my door yelling at me, saying how disappointed they were and how it was disrespectful for talking about family issues with my husband.
What? That's her family. What?
They called me horrible names that I can't even repeat here. Finally snapped and told them I want nothing to do with them anymore, and this would be the last time we speak. They kept going, but I refused to participate any longer, and they eventually left after my husband threatened to call the police. When they left, I completely broke down. Things my parents said were vile and cruel. I didn't know what I did to deserve this treatment. Sad truth is, my mother-in-law has been a bit better and more loving mother to me than my own mom has ever been. And that hurts in a way I can't even explain. This happened a few days ago, and since then, I've blocked my parents, my brother, my uncle, and my aunt. A few other family members have tried reaching out, but the moment I see they're defending my parents, I block them too. I just can't deal with it anymore, and I have my own family to worry about. We've decided we'll be moving closer to my in-laws this winter, and no one will know except for a few close friends and family we can trust not to run back to my parents. My first therapy session is scheduled for this week as well. All right. Guys, you can schedule every day, every freaking minute of your lives for the next 70 days to be OK Storytime on your favorite podcast platform. Just search up that OK Storytime on Apple, iHeartRadio, or Spotify. And listen to us. We got your day planned out.
It's all you need. Straight
Really?
into your eyeballs and your ears. It's all you need. 70 full days.
We're working on smell and taste.
Yeah. I don't know. I see a lot of people saying cameras until you move, which I think is a really good idea.
I agree.
'Cause I wouldn't put it past someone who's already been known to have outbursts to come back to your house and have one.
Yeah. Dude, because, I mean, call the police, too, next time you show up. Can you get a restraining order where you are?
Definitely start reporting to make a case if you can. Because there's already been physical things against you.
Yeah.
You can 100% report the brother.
Oh, dude, and OP has so many, like, things she can do here to the parents that she's not going to do. Ugh. When I fully opened up to my husband and our close friends about my childhood, the look on their faces made me sick. They explained to me that what I went through was not normal and that no parent should ever treat their child the way mine did. I'm not doing well at the moment, but I'm thankful I have my husband and friends to support me. I really hope therapy will help me heal, but I know it will take a long time. Right now, it just feels like I'm floating in darkness. I can't comprehend why my parents hate me so much. I did everything they ever wanted, even if it compromised my own happiness. It still wasn't enough for them.
No, they just suck. It's them.
It's them,
it's not
girl.
you.
Not you at all. Shoo. Ugh.
you'll learn that in therapy.
Ah!